Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Blackshirt Breakdown. My name is Steve Marik. I'm a staff writer at Inside Nebraska, part of the Rivals.com network. And that man over there, that is Jay Foreman, our NFL veteran and former Nebraska Blackshirt. Jay, before we get into this next breakdown of a new Husker, how you been, man?
I've been good, man. It's obviously we had a little bit of a snowstorm, but I will say this is we stay warm because the Husker coaching staff and recruiting department has definitely been active, and so even though you might be locked inside, you definitely are always busy, and so obviously we have another Black Shirt breakdown with another great addition in Jahmal Banks. I'm excited for the fans and the players, and it's a good get for Nebraska because it's a position in need, and obviously he's a really good kid as well.
Absolutely. So, as Jay mentioned, we will be breaking down Jahmal Banks, a transfer wide receiver from Wake Forest. He spent the past 4 seasons at Wake Forest. Just a little background on him. The last 2 seasons, he has a combined 101 catches for 1,289 yards and 13 touchdowns. When Sam Hartman was throwing him the football, it looked good. I mean, Jahmal Banks had plenty of opportunities, but that was not the case last season as Sam Hartman transferred to Notre Dame, and last season just Wake Forest just did not have the quarterback play that Sam Hartman provided in 2022 for Wake. Three different guys threw passes, started at quarterback for Wake Forest. So Jahmal Banks had kind of like a weird quarterback situation last season at Wake. But yeah, so 6'3", 208 pounds. He checks off the boxes that Nebraska was kind of hoping to get out of the transfer portal at the receiver position. He's size 6'3", 208. Veteran type of guy. He's played in
Right.
44 career games, 4 seasons. He's not just like a true freshman that Nebraska was leaning on last year. And leadership. If you talk to Jahmal Banks, I implore everybody listening to this to go to Inside Nebraska and check out my story on Jahmal Banks. The guy is a leader. I mean, he speaks with power, I feel like, and I think it's just going to be a really good thing for Nebraska's wideout room, Garrett McGuire, to have somebody like Jahmal Banks, just an older guy, veteran dude who's been there, done that, come in and show all the young, talented pieces in Nebraska's room, and there are plenty of them. How to be a pro, and I think that's a really good thing. But Jay, what are your first thoughts on Jahmal Banks? Obviously, he's got the size, which Nebraska's room badly needed the experience. But what are your
Right.
overall thoughts before we get into his highlights?
I mean, like you said, he checks all the boxes. I
Hmm.
think he's a Washington D.C. kid. He's tough,
Yeah.
and I'm from around that area. And his unbiased opinion, he's a tough kid. He knows what it
Hmm.
takes to compete. You said he speaks with power. He speaks with conviction, and he plays
Hmm.
that way too. And so, I think it's a good addition. I think it's a great opportunity for him. To come in here and be the guy or be one of the main guys, establish himself from a leadership standpoint. And when you watch them here, and I always look at body language and what they look like when they break the huddle. And this is, when you had a quarterback like Sam Hartman, how he got to Notre Dame is, off of Jahmal Banks being able to
Yeah.
do the things he's doing. You see this right here, right? You like him to beat man coverage, right? Right, good press coverage against a good Duke, Duke Blue Devils defense that's one of the best in the nation.
It was the
Look
top
at
of the
their
ACC and the country.
right
Yeah.
the fluid release. You like this right here. He knows exactly where he's going. He's physical, right? And you like to see him win right here, right?
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, that's probably defensive pass interference, but what does he do? He wins strong. When you talk about playing to your size, right?
Yeah.
He plays to that 6'3", 208, 210, or whatever whatever he checks in at. He plays that. He doesn't play soft. He doesn't play finesse. He's getting into it. He likes it, and you know what I like? He knows how to run routes in and through contact, and even to where it's a defensive pass interference. He's strong right there, and he's long, and good ball skills right here, because it's hard for young receivers to come out of their break right here, even if they win, to track the ball. So this is a practice habit that he's done right here, and he eats up the cushion of the defensive back, gets him going, right? Thinks he sells it that it's going downfield, then or going into the 9 route, and then he's able to stop, right? Look at that good base coming back, tracking the ball. And I
Hmm.
like it even better, Steve, as you always say, hand catcher
Yep.
right there, big strong catches or a big strong catch, and he gives you a little bit of run after a catch. If he would have kept his balance, he would have probably tried to
Yeah.
get a couple of yards there.
For sure. And I did a little film research on Jamal. A lot of his catches were just maybe underneath routes, stop routes where he was able to use his big frame against the smaller DBs. But there were times where he was more of an explosive threat down the field, and I thought this one was a really good route and throw by the quarterback. This was a third string quarterback that was throwing to Jahmal Banks last season, but he made this throw, and I just really like the separation that Jahmal really gets right off the line of scrimmage. He beats his guy, and it's against a Pitt defense that is traditionally pretty good. Maybe kind of a off year last season, but really good route, throw, everything from here.
Well, this is right here. This is against a coverage called two man, right?
Okay.
So it's man to man with cover two. You see the two high safeties right here. So he's playing a press coverage inside, and you're trying to make the quarterback make a pro type throw,
Yeah.
but you got to win at the receiver position. And you see he wins right away off the line of scrimmage, doesn't lose his leverage as far as getting too far off the numbers until he has to. And then he gives the enough space for that quarterback to fit it in there between the corner and the safety, even though the coverage is thought to be to stop this type of route. So there's the details is what's most important right here, right? So look where he starts right here, a little bit inside the numbers, right? He knows this guy has inside leverage, right? So he knows he's going to get a free outside release. A rookie guy was going to go way outside. What do you do? Hug the numbers and didn't get too far to the sideline, because if you get too far to the sideline, it allows the safety to get a step or two over there to potentially make a play on the ball or a pass breakup. And I like it where he doesn't lose his leverage. He gets back into the coverage, right? And then he has that nice little kind of it wasn't even a push off, but it's just a little hand fighting right there to create that
Yeah.
last second of separation. And he's savvy enough to understand that just that little stab right there is going to slow down the corner, and then he's not going to impede his speed down the field. Watch this right there. See that right there?
Yeah.
That little stab. Nobody can see it, right? Stab right to the chest. It's a
It's
stiff
quick.
arm.
It's sharp
Right,
and quick.
right. Stab him right here. Then he gets his hands back up. Look at the ball and the tracking skills. I always talk about this with high school kids, but he's obviously a college veteran. The ability to catch it right here. Look at that hands catcher into the bucket. Good. And then he gets a couple yards after the catch right there. Good. Look, man, this is what you want. And one thing about it is for him to be able to do these type of things, in two different games, and we'll see another one with three different quarterbacks, lets you know that he is going to compete every day, and he's going to put a good product out there regardless of the quarterback. And that's obviously something that Nebraska had this year. So where, consistency is what they're looking for, and productivity comes off the consistency.
Another popular route from Jahmal Banks at Wake Forest during his career there, the slant. I mean, again, the big body, the big frame, put that up against a smaller DB. He's got the advantage, and they did that quite often, especially with that slow mesh offense that Wake Forest likes to run. But yeah, a lot of his Jahmal Banks, his routes, a lot of his catches came from shorter underneath stuff just because he's a bigger guy. And this is another example of him gaining separation off a quick slant.
Well, what you want, Steve, you also got to realize though, when you have three different quarterbacks, you're going to run a lot of slants and underneath routes,
Yeah.
right? And you want a guy that can win right here, right? Eat up the leverage, cross the face. That's a great route right there. Watch it. Watch how he comes off the ball right here, right? A little bit of off man, right? Eats this guy up right here. Doesn't give away his route right there. Eats it up. Knows that he's going to try to get it, stop him from going crossing his face. Foot in the ground, head snap around, first down. That's even more important. Right? This is the type of win that you want when it's second and 8. But just imagine if it's 3rd and 8. He is going to get the first down and then some. And yes, he has a big body, but when you have the rotation of quarterbacks, you have to run routes that were more safe throws. And so when you're able to win effectively and efficiently, both in press and off man, and different coverages that are meant to stop him, because you got to think Jahmal Banks is the #1 receiver. He's showing you an array of talent right here that's pretty appealing, obviously, to Nebraska and many other schools that were recruiting him.
And for this final highlight that we are going to break down, I went back to the 2022 season and checked out his game, his effort against Clemson. Really good performance. That was back when they had Sam Hartman, and I really liked this route concept from Banks here. He beats his corner number 2. I apologize, I don't know who that is, but he just wins right away, and Sam Hartman throws him a good ball, and again he goes up and gets this ball.
Well, you look at it right off the get-go. If you go right from the beginning, right here, look at the knee bend and the ankle bend. 6'3", 210, let's say 210. Look how efficient. Look at this. Look at this release right here. right? Little hezzy for you basketball players right there.
Mm-hmm.
Stick, I'm gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I say, Steve, when they're even, he's leaving.
He's
And
leaving.
that's what he's doing right here. Watch how he hits him with the hezzy, plants outside, gets back into the route. Look at this, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't run away from him. Look how he gets back into the defender. Not
Mm-hmm.
only does he beat him, now when you get back into him, look, you force him for a pass interference, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can't question the speed right here. Now he's at top speed, goes for another swipe. And then what he does, he's big enough and strong enough to
Yep.
track the ball and make that 50-50 catch. And it's actually pretty good coverage there by Davis, because we just see him right there. He might be a little quote of
Yeah.
Mr. Go 30. But
Yeah.
Davis right there, Davis the second, I think he is.
Yeah, it is.
He might be the fourth. You know, really pass interfered on him twice. But look at Jahmal Banks right here to win against man-to-man coverage and gets a pretty good corner. And watch how he high points it here. And he has enough strength, right, to
Mm-hmm.
not get thrown off by those two attempts to impede his progress down the field against one of the better defenses in the nation. So you got to think, when you're playing against one of the top defenses in the nation, everybody on Clemson is on the NFL draft boards. Great 50-50 catch right there. Obviously a great throw, but even a better route. Look at this right here. Eats him up. Look how he gets back into him and then sells it and explodes it. Skinny post right there,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a route that's really hard to get on sync with your quarterback, but then also hard route to beat sometimes when you're playing against press man. So when you go back to this, watch this. Great release, right? He knows he's got what the coverage that he wants, so it lets you know he can read the coverage.
Ooh, the
Right there, gets
explosion.
back into him and then stabs it. It sticks it and he's gone. And so it's a really good route by him. Even more impressed the more you watch it. Look how quick he is.
Yeah.
Eats it up. I like it better right there, how he gets back into the coverage so the guy can't stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's not selling the corner route. What he's doing is trying to widen out that defensive back number 2 here in the middle of his route. When you watch this right about here, right? You see that? He's creating a separation right there. So he knows the ball is coming between the numbers and the hash. And look where he catches it, right about on the hash, right? And so just that little stab and that strength that he has to not get thrown off his route is what you think or what you want in a receiver. Now look, he's in the transfer portal and he's looking for an opportunity. And for Nebraska, regardless of whether it's Dylan Raiola, Daniel Kalen, Heinrich Harburg, or anybody else that steps up in the quarterback room, they're providing assets and players to where you're eliminating a little bit of the guesswork, right? You can throw the slant route because he can win press coverage. He can run a little bit of a bang 8, right? He can beat a cover 2 beater, right? Essentially what that's cover 2 man or 2 man. And then you see him on a deep route. So he has deep speed. And the thing is that people don't understand is they always try to like, oh, you got to run a 4-3 to be a deep threat. No, you got to be able to run precise, good routes. And then when you're a legit 6'3", and he's I don't know if he doesn't want to be so tall to 6'4". He's pushing 6'4". And the reason why I'm talking about the height when you're a legit 6'3", and 6'3 and a half, 6'4", whatever, he's a legit 6'3", and he has long arms. The speed factor of having to run a 4.3 is eliminated because he's probably about a 4.5, high 4.4. So when it comes to 50-50 balls and he's explosive and strong and he plays big, right?
Yeah.
That he can go up and make those catches and he can create separation not only by his size and speed, but his route running. That last route that you saw against Clemson was a really good route because he knew that he was on based on his pre-snap read, right? So you're going to see man-to-man coverage no matter what conference you're playing in. And then he was able to win and then obviously provided, the continuity with the quarterback, knew that ball was going to be hugging the hash there. So in order to do that, even against press coverage, he had to stick it into that defensive back, create separation, and then go get the ball. That's what you want, 50-50 ball, competitive. And so when you're thinking about the different times this year where the inexperience of some of our receivers, which a year prior, they were in high school. So you got a guy here that knows how to win and win in money time, along with some of the other guys that they brought in the receiver room. I think it's a good get. And I'm sure Garrett McGuire has to be super excited. He has somebody he can lean on from a productivity standpoint, 2 guys. And he also from the quarterback room, whether it's Marcus Satterfield or whoever is coaching the quarterbacks, they should feel excited as well.
So Jay, in your experiences when you were a young linebacker back in the day and a veteran came in, what how important was the older guys in your room when you were like just a like you said, a fresh out of high
Right? Yeah.
school guy just trying to learn college football?
Well, I mean, it's huge on me. I mean, if you go in my story or whatever is, Troy Dumas and Clint Brown, they showed me everything. Not only by them, physically, kind of helping me learn the defense and
Yeah.
learning how to play, or teaching me how to play and play at the college level. But I was able to emulate their work habits.
Hmm.
How they were in meetings, how attentive they were in meetings, how invested they were, the extra work they did, the way they communicated, the way they carried themselves, the way they prepared, and then more importantly, the two last is how they competed and what type of teammates they were. So that's 9 things that I learned from them just by their presence as a young guy, and I felt like that formed my habits and hopefully,
Hmm.
my the way I played, and then I was able hopefully to pass it along. So when you talk about leaving a legacy or creating continuity, it starts potentially and hopefully with Jahmal Banks, Isaiah Nair, and those guys,
Hmm.
even the guys that played last year, Malachi Coleman, Doss, Lloyd, all those guys coming together and creating a standard of excellence in that wide receiver room. And you don't have to be there 4 years to do it. Jahmal Banks knows what it takes to work, and
Yep.
so does Isaiah. Come in, they both come in from big time programs, especially Isaiah, in the college football playoffs. So the habits that he learned, at the wide receiver room in Texas, along with Jahmal Banks playing with the likes of Sam Hartman, and
Hmm.
then battling through rotation of quarterbacks this year,
Yeah.
bring those habits here, influence that wide receiver room, and then as they hopefully move on to the next level, they're able to look back and see, the guys that I just mentioned, and then some, all taking it even further. And so it's not just the productive on a product or productivity on the field with Jahmal Banks; it's the leadership, the toughness, and the mindset, and that's can change with just one or two guys. And obviously, like I said, Garrett McGuire and the whole Husker staff should be excited.
Absolutely awesome stuff from Jay Foreman once again. So, Jay, that was fun. Let's do it again next week with maybe Isaiah Nair, the former
Yeah.
Wyoming Cowboy, Texas
Yeah,
Longhorn. He'd
yeah,
be a
man.
good
Hey,
one to
listen,
do.
man. I give it. Matt Rhule and those guys keep us busy, so it's all good,
Yeah,
man. And I think it's look, I think the way that they've attacked the portal and their roster is showing that that they've learned, and then they only can get better.
awesome stuff. All right, for Jay Foreman, my name is Steve Mark, and that was a Blackshirt Breakdown Jahmal Banks edition. We'll catch y'all later.